Welcome, parents and guardians. I am Mr. Beylerian. I'm the instructor for this grade 11 computer science course. Your child is my student, and I wanted to give you an insider's look at their classroom. We don't have direct access as parents and guardians to this software, but your student does. You're my student, your child, and I wanted you to know how they learn on a daily basis in an e-learning course. So first of all, they've been trained to log in every day and into this course and to read any announcements. So once they've read the announcements, they can clear the announcements by clicking an X. Look for any messages, any subscriptions to the discussions they've engaged in, any update alerts, and then pay attention to the navigation bar. The other part of this course page is a button here for them to book an appointment with me if they wanted to have live aid. I can I have a scheduling system and they can book some time with me. And they also have a calendar here that tells them some important dates, and the blue dots indicate that there is work being released or is due. Up here on the nav bar, the navigation bar, we click on schedule, which is color coded. The color gray means that this is work in the past, and if they haven't done it, then they should prioritize getting this work done. The schedule in this course has two columns, a theory track. The theory track has to do with lessons and quizzes on the concepts of computer science. And then we also have the practical track. We're using a tool from Carnegie Mellon University called Computer Science Academy, where they are learning how to write computer programs in the language Python, and they have quizzes related to that as well. So every single day they have they have a lesson content in theory, they have discussions, they have lessons in programming, and when they have quizzes, it's all highlighted for them to make sure that they understand. So as I said, gray is the stuff from the past, and it's overdue if it's not done. They need to prioritize it. Green is what they're supposed to go for today, and today is the day I'm recording this video, and as you can see today, they should be attempting Theory Quiz 3, and they should be starting Unit 2 on the practical side. So when we look at this schedule, you'll see that there's also work available to them up in the red in case they're a quick learner, they're working very quickly, or they know that there's an absence that's planned in their life in the future and they would like to get some traction up ahead. So they can look at this entire schedule. The entire semester is laid out for them. All the key dates, all the work that is required of them is all laid out there. There is no final examination in an e-learning course. There is a final project, and for their sake, I have broken it down into a number of parts so that it is not one large piece. Let's get back to green. So in green it says here that they should be working on a quiz on the theory side and some lessons in programming on the practical side. Let's take a look at the quiz first. So they click up here in quizzes and they will see their past quizzes here and the dates that they are available. You'll notice that they have 3 tries. It's multiple choice and it is open book, and their best score is used. There's also some quizzes from the future just in case they're working up ahead, and here is their Unit 1 quiz on the practical side. So all quizzes are in this quiz center. When we go back to the schedule, you'll realize that the theory side, this quiz is based on this content and this discussion. So if we click on content, and then in the content when we click on this tab and we go to Unit 3, you'll now see how their lessons on a daily basis for theory side are laid out. They start off with a short video that gives them examples, hooks them into the topic, gets their mind on the topic of the day. And then in plain English, we lay out for them 3 learning goals and what they should be able to do by the end of this lesson. And then there's an introduction followed by all the different topics and subjects that they are needing to go through. They will sometimes have the transcript of interviews that have been done for the purpose of this course. And as they go through the different topics and they're reading through it, and there's examples, you'll notice that some of the words are in bold, and that is because there's a glossary list at the end in case they need to understand some of these terms. Once they've gone through the lesson, there's also a summary here in terms of an infographic. Now the infographic graphically puts together the main points of the lesson. It's not enough to just look at the infographic and then try to quiz. That's not good enough. You won't score well. you need to go through the lesson. But not everybody reads a lot of work and enjoys reading, so we have a discussion here where they engage with their classmates on one of the key topics um, of the lesson. And so they have an initial post. I've given them an example what an initial post should look like, sharing with their classmates their response to the scenario, and then they're supposed to reply to a classmate, and I have given them an example of what a model reply would be like. Here's that glossary I mentioned before, so they would understand the different terms. And then they have a podcast, a conversation between two people covering all of this content. So if they learn by listening, they can listen to this podcast. It's very conversational. They can speed it up if they like to, as long as they understand. And if they're more of a visual learner, then here is a slideshow that's a video with some voiceover that explains the key concepts. Again, we're trying to angle the content to meet everyone's needs. Do you listen and learn? Do you watch and learn? Do you read and learn? Do you learn through conversation with classmates? All of that is there, and then you can go and take care of the quizzes. Now, we are now going to look at the practical side, because every day they have the theory side, but they also have the practical side. So on the practical side, they are learning how to do some computer programming. And the way to get there is through the CMU CSA side. That's Carnegie Mellon University Computer Science Academy, and all their lessons of all 12 units are laid out for them here. And then as they go, starting to learn to draw some shapes, and then how to write code that includes the mouse, and then more complex conditional if statements and so on, and math functions and arrays and board games, all of this builds on itself. So as they go through it, each of these lessons is one per day. And as they are successful in it, the next lesson will open up for them. And so let's just take a look here at one of the lessons. So you'll see the green check marks here because I've demonstrated this before. But they do a little bit of reading, and then they have their checkpoints. And a checkpoint allows them to actually try the coding and see how well they're doing. And they'll get feedback, and they'll be told what's right and what's wrong right over here. And if they still don't understand, they can take a screenshot of the screen, show me what they've tried already, send that as an email to me, and I get back to them within 24 hours. They can also book an appointment, as I said. They can book an appointment and get some live help right here. So let's go back to the lessons. If we go back to the lessons, you'll see that step by step they're learning. And then they will have a review, and then they'll have a practice quiz, and then they'll have a quiz. And if we look back at the schedule itself, you'll see that all of that is laid out and put in one place where they can follow. Here is the review. This is a cheat sheet of all the concepts of the first unit. They can have this open while they're doing their quiz. It's all there. And then they have a video. Again, if they watch and listen and learn, that's how they learn better. Then here's a video, instructional video, less than 10 minutes long, that covers all the topics. Again, in summary. And then, of course, they have a Kahoot, which is sort of like a game show practice quiz, lets them know how well they're understanding it. Every unit also has a practice quiz, and then the actual one that counts for grades. And they would access that through the quiz center. They can always see what their grades are by clicking on grades. And that's the quick tour of this course. And so now you know how an e-learning course works and what your child is working on a daily basis. If you have any questions or comments, please reply to the email that contains this video.